Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is Muskan from Datamatics. Thank you for joining us today as we delve into the topic of gaining prominence of asset-based service delivery model, unified platform in FAO. To ensure we provide the best assistance, we have a dedicated questions tab where you can submit your queries and thoughts. We'll address them by the end of the session. Please note that all lines are currently muted per the default settings of the webinar. To keep things interactive, we'll be launching 3 poll questions for you to share your insights. Additionally, stay tuned for a survey at the end of the webinar where your feedback will be valued. Also, no need to take copious notes. I promise we'll send you the session recording and presentation deck via email within the next day. Without further ado, I would like to hand it over to David, who will be the moderator for this discussion.
All right, thanks, Muskan. Hi, everyone. This is Dave from Datamatics. Today's topic on the asset-based service delivery model is crucial for financial leaders to optimize service delivery, drive growth, and adapt the evolving landscape of finance and accounting. So what exactly is the asset-based service delivery model? In essence, it revolves around leveraging a unified platform. This model streamlines processes, enhances collaboration, and leverages assets for efficient value-added services at a lower cost point, addressing challenges in the sector more effectively. Let us explore this framework with our experts today. So we have with us Shirley Hung, partner at Everest Group from Dallas, but currently joining us from Pune, India. Her responsibilities include leading Everest Group's financial and accounting outsourcing, procurement outsourcing, and customer experience management services research offerings. Joining us from Chicago is Angelina Mendez, Director of Accounts Payable at MCC Label. She specializes in root cause analysis, procure to pay, and complex data maintenance, and has extensive experience in various programs, including SAP and Oracle. Finally, we have with us Navin Gupta, Executive Vice President and Head of BPM and Finance Practice at Datamatics. He is joining us from Mumbai. Navin spearheads all operations and transformations in the BPM space and has over 35 years of experience in managing operations, leading ERP practices, business analysis, and financial analysis. So can we have our first poll question, please? Are the poll questions there? All right. So what is, okay, here you go. So where are you in your journey of finance digital transformation? So are you just starting out, or is it in progress, well underway, fully transformed? Okay, do we have them, the results? All right, Mikesh. Okay, oops. So, here they are. So just starting out, 67%, and followed by well underway, 22%. Yeah, pretty good. So we're on the right track. All right, so over to Shirley and Navin to share their perspective on the topic while with the help of a short presentation.
Thanks, Dave, and welcome everyone for this webinar. And I hope that you will gain some insights about the transformation, and particularly we will talk about artificial intelligence and Gen AI. First, let me talk about unified asset platform, which are becoming a key orchestrator to drive transformational impact. Because earlier you used to have a ERP, and then you used to have a point solutions for AP, for AR, for R2R, for FP&A. But today there is a unified platform which is driving and sitting on the top of ERP, which is doing the entire process orchestration, process optimization, benchmarking, value addition, as well as the entire transformation of CFO back office operation. And this is becoming a one-stop solution for all F&A needs for the enterprises. This facilitates communication, collaborations between buyers, between customers, suppliers, lenders, as well as it also brings a real-time transparency of each and every process and sub-process therein. So, and Datamatics bring Finato as such unified F&A platform for transforming the entire way we work with the help of people, process, technology, and the best practices from the world class and the leaders in a particular field. A unified platform gives you entire procure to pay, order to cash, record to report, travel and expense, contract management, financial planning and analysis. And this is all driven by latest state of art, artificial intelligence, machine learning, as well as incorporating the features of Gen AI for taking a real-time decision, faster decision, and more accurate decision time and again, with, of course, enhanced UI and improved UX, which is more user-friendly for people to work upon.
So,
sorry, go ahead. Sure.
No worries. Thanks, Navin. So as part of a lot of those unified platforms that we're seeing, artificial intelligence is embedded in those because it is one of the top transformation levers that we see organizations investing in both now and in the future. And mainly this is because companies are realizing that digital and technology spend is really no longer discretionary. And so they're investing in proven technologies such as AI, data analytics, and automation to drive better business outcomes. So next generation transformation levers are, as we're showing here in the slide, are attracting the majority of the current investments. But in addition to that, they're also likely to drive future investments as well. And when you take a look at how AI is combined with technologies such as automation, analytics, and chatbots, even greater business impact can be achieved through the likes of intelligent automation, predictive and prescriptive analytics, as well as intelligent chatbots or intelligent virtual agents.
If we have to talk about certain use cases, whether it is P2P, O2C, R2R, or FP&A, AI has a huge potential in enabling the touchless automation today, improving finance stakeholder experience, not only stakeholder experience. And when I'm saying stakeholder, it is all stakeholders, whether it is a customer, internal customer, external customer, supplier, or even people who are working on your operators or your people who are working on the accounts payable. Rather than doing a monotonous day-to-day job, if we are able to provide them accurate data with the help of artificial intelligence and machine learning, and with the automation and analytics, along with the chatbots, the experience level today, any supplier, they don't have to really wait and call your office for the where the payment is lying in the process. They know themselves even before calling. Similarly, travel and expense, why do you have to really wait for you to scan your bills? Why can't, when you spend, just click the picture and upload it and it is taken care of? And accounts receivable, if we look at today, what is the biggest problem of all the organization is the daily still outstanding. And if you are able to automate your accounts receivable with the help of artificial intelligence, and your collectors are only targeting those people who will pay, whom they call and they pay today, their collection as well as their KPIs will go up multiple notches. Same is true for treasury and risk management, billing, and internal audit. Earlier, internal audit used to be happen on the sample of transactions, but today you can do your internal audit and the entire population of data, which will help you have the right FP&A as well as regulatory and compliance to take the right decisions.
So it's impossible these days to talk about AI without talking about a specific form of AI, which is generative AI. And when we take a look at F&A adoption for generative AI, it's still not high, as it's showing here on the top part of the slide. Most organizations are still very early on in the adoption cycle. We are seeing outside of F&A, areas such as customer service, marketing, and sales, they're further progressed in their generative AI journey so far. However, that being said, it's still very much an emerging technology there as well. But if we kind of come back to F&A, we see opportunities for generative AI in areas such as AR and AP help desk, and customer service there, collection analytics and insights, report generation, access to compliance and reporting frameworks, journal entries, and so forth. And from an industry-specific lens, we do see BFSI, healthcare, CPG, and retail showing greater interest and a higher degree of adoption, or having more proofs of concepts occurring. And this actually coincides quite a bit with how these sectors tend to be in the forefront of technology adoption more generally, right? The BFSI sector typically adopts technology early on, and they continue with this trend when it comes to generative AI due to their ready access to data and technology. At the bottom of the slide, we outline a few of the challenges that organizations mention when it comes to adopting generative AI. Top of the list when it comes to emerging technologies is that the ROI may not be fully proven. And certainly what we're hearing is that sometimes when it comes down to identifying use cases, when you do a comparative assessment for leveraging generative AI against leveraging existing technologies, sometimes actually the existing technologies have a better cost to benefit assessment ratio, right? Especially at this point when generative AI costs can be quite high. And in addition, generative AI has some intangible benefits that is difficult to quantify from a hard dollar value standpoint. And that makes the business case a lot harder to justify, particularly in a tough business environment where cost pressures can still be quite high. And so kind of moving on, when we're looking at the top considerations in the near and medium term, if you are looking to adopt generative AI in the next slide, when we have sent out and done some research on organizations that are seriously considering the implementation, we are finding that a base level of digital maturity is really required for generative AI to start delivering results. And that's why you'll see, the top considerations to embed adoption being data related. So conducting data readiness and data strategy assessments. So nearly 50% of the respondents say that is incredibly important. Developing robust AI policies in line with regulations, and even lower down the list, identifying guardrails to flag data privacy and cybersecurity risks. This is in line with the fact that we know a lot of organizations are not quite there when it comes to data readiness and digital maturity. And so this is where we believe that companies can leverage third-party support in terms of helping them build the base level maturity, technology maturity to need it to start implementing generative AI. So with that, I'd like to hand it over to back to David to launch the second poll question.
Right, thank you for that. So we have our second poll question. And so if we get the question up on the screen. All right, so the question is, how would you rate your organization's current leverage of AI in finance and accounting? This will be on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being low leverage and 5 being high leverage. And we'll give you some time to answer. Okay, I think we got everybody's. Let's see what the results are. So for this one, so basically, folks are in level 1 for being the lowest levels, just getting started. Some folks are on the way, so that's good. All right, so we have some panel questions. First one will be for Angelina, and that'll be for Angelina. Can you walk us through your journey with F&A automation at MCC Label? What were the challenges you encountered, and how did you navigate them?
Yes, Dave. Hi, everyone. I've been working with Datamatics for about 2 years. I mean, the application itself. MCC Label has grown through mergers and acquisitions. I was part of the Ford Dearborn organization, and then was asked to step over on the MCC side to deal with the Datamatics procure-to-pay platform that we had in place. It's been quite a journey. Very, very exciting to see what the tool is able to do. When I took over, our automation rate was about 65%. And then there was a lot of people not really, I would say, not really happy with the tool. But then I found out that it was due to lack of understanding of the benefits that the tool could provide, right? Because it totally changed the way people are used to work, right? You're moving from a clerical, very manual data entry process to an automated process, right? With everything, if you have a good procure-to-pay process structure, all the items should flow using the engines and the automation built into Datamatics. But then having that lack of understanding and also the communication back to the Datamatics team to tell them what were our needs was making it difficult for the team, right? So when I came in, I really took an approach of understanding, beginning to end, what is this tool and what can it do for us? And then it took a couple meetings with different departments, with the Datamatics team, which I do appreciate a lot. Every time I had questions, they will jump on a call and we'll try to resolve. And then it was a lot of back and forth. And then within a year, we were able to achieve from a 65, a 90% automation, which was, key for our, reduce some costs on some contractors that we had. And also, when you ask about challenges, and I know I saw that in one of the slides from the presentation, it's the talent, right? Finding the right talent to deal with this new way of working. And when I say new way of working, again, typical AP, specialist or clerk are used to match the invoices, manually or put them into the system. And then now it becomes exception-based processing, which is kind of like the next level for our accounts payable profession to say, we have moved from this paper-driven world to an automated artificial intelligence, all of this use of technology that can make our jobs a lot easier. And then it was difficult to find the right talent to come and work in the new environment, right? Again, it moves your role from an AP clerk to an AP analyst, which now everything that you looked at, it will be a problem because whatever was easy, the system was able to, to pass through all the, the automation. Another one of our challenges was we have different ERP systems. Like I said, we have grown through acquisitions. So really finding, Datamatics to be the one platform that all invoices are kind of coming through, and no matter what ERP we have, then it's able to funnel that information to it. So it's been, a very interesting journey, a lot of learning, but again, excited to see the benefits and the potential that we have with Datamatics, right? It makes us, it's an scalable software or platform where we have done a couple acquisitions, and then those are coming right into our process. So for us, it's been, again, quite a journey. And as an accounts payable professional, I've been doing this for 25 years. The best way I can put this to people in our profession is, if you have ever seen the movie Hidden Figures, where you have, I don't know if you have watched that, but I would recommend that movie totally for someone in our profession to see that, don't be afraid of technology, because it really brings, another skill set to the table. And then that's the direction that we're moving. Like they said, there's other professions that are already there, and then accounting or, accounts payable. I know some people said they're still, in the early stages. I would say, if I have to answer to the first question, my company is well underway under transformation for this type of processes.
Right, thank you, Angelina. Our next question is for Shirley. What steps should organizations take to assess the practicality and worth of AI solutions for their specific use cases?
So I actually think that it doesn't differ a lot from other kinds of technology innovations or transformation initiatives in terms of the actual steps that organizations should be taking. You need to do a current state assessment in terms of how things are working currently, and the technology environment that you have, how you're running those processes, and then determine what the benefits could be when you do the transformation, evaluate the cost and the effort that's associated with it, and then calculate the ROI. Not just looking in terms of the immediate ROI in the short term, but also factoring in, the additional benefits that might come in the medium to long term as well. I mentioned a little bit before that there are data considerations that need to be in place when you are thinking about leveraging AI in terms of having a good quality data and secure data that and good training information, that can feed into the models. And when it comes to areas such as generative AI, also taking into account the probabilistic nature of that technology and how that might potentially create some risk that the organization may be newly exposed to when it comes to ethics and hallucinations and so forth. So what we're seeing now is many organizations are prioritizing those types of use cases when it comes to generative AI specifically, on those areas where these kinds of risks can be mitigated through human support. So where AI is making the human better, as opposed to exposing the AI directly into the marketplace quite now, because it is such a new technology.
All right, thank you, Shirley. Our next question is for Navin. What recommendations do you have for someone looking to invest in AI or generative AI to transform financial and accounting operations?
Thanks, David. So basically, it depends upon the objective of the organization. What are the objectives they want to achieve? Because there was one of the questions in the Q&A that does AI reduce the cost? It certainly does. But is the cost only objective you have? As Shirley was pointing out, the current state assessment. The current state assessment will help you in benchmarking your current processes and the KPIs where they are. Now, AI will bring not only, because AI will also need a lot of transformation, automation, and change management. So when you are identifying a process, you define the objective, define the benchmark, define the future state to be, and then you can choose a use case depending upon a cost benefit analysis, because since it's a new technology, it is not going to be that cheap. If it makes a difference for you to achieve the objective, then of course go ahead for it. Otherwise, you may see that, okay, even or just digital, just transformation, just automation is enough. Not AI is necessarily required, because AI is required where you are taking, I would say, expensive decision, where you are really taking what $1 million worth of decisions today, or it is impacting your bottom line with multi-million dollars. That is where you will choose AI, not for a smaller piece of a task, and also not to just achieve a cost reduction. Because if you're only spending, let's say, $100,000, right, you may not be able to save that much until unless your spend in that particular activity is close to around $2, $3, $5 million. That is where the huge impact would be, and it certainly will bring your cost of operations down. Second, take the accuracy level to the next level. Also, the efficiency and productivity ultimately will bring in supplier and customer satisfaction to 3 levels up.
All right, thank you, Navin. So I have a few more questions. Back to Angelina. When outsourcing partners are involved in implementing and scaling F&A processes, what are your top expectations from them?
I think the top expectations will be what's their investment in technology, right? For them to keep up with enhancements and innovating. The other critical component, I think, is the availability and based on time zone. Even though some of these processes sometimes are overseas, having someone that is able to answer calls or help to resolve any issues, I think that's very important. The customer service aspect of it, that is not, that it has the ability to custom the application based on your needs. It's not like one size fits all. Being able to leverage in like to fix our needs, and also I think one of the biggest things is the data component, right? The metrics that can be provided, that it can help us continue to grow and improve our processes. Over the last 2 years, my experience with the Datamatics team, it's been great, right? Where when you think about outsourcing or contracting some of the services, really the biggest component for me, it's been the customer service. Listening to the needs and being able to make the modifications that are needed based on our business, where it's not, you have to do it this way because, we will build the platform this way. And then as we do new releases, it will wipe out all of your, custom design. So I think finding a provider that is able, again, to customize based on your needs, I think that's key for me.
Hey, thank you, Angelina. Next question I have is for Shirley. How can companies evaluate the ROI of generative AI compared to existing technologies in finance and accounting?
That's a really good question. I think what makes evaluating ROI for generative AI difficult is, as I was saying before, there isn't a lot of benchmarks that are out there. Right? It's really new. With existing technologies, you already know usually what other companies have achieved in terms of benefits, what some of the costs are, what some of the change management challenges are. So it is a lot easier to have that it's well understood. So when you take that and then you're trying to compare, well, what additional benefit could generative AI achieve? It's difficult, and right now the costs for generative AI are controlled by the big tech companies, by the LLM models, and it's quite high. So in many cases, it's prohibitively high, right? But we do believe that the cost curve is going to go down, as they always do when technologies mature. But in the meantime, the other kind of piece as well, as I mentioned before, was that the risk component is also somewhat significant. And each company has a different appetite for risk. And in some use cases, actually taking on that risk could provide competitive advantage. And so might be kind of worthwhile, right, to take it on and to at least do a proof of concept. So that's where we're really seeing most organizations devote their efforts, is trying to understand the ROI through pilots and proof of concepts for generative AI first, and before kind of going into real production and large scale adoption. And to be honest, actually, we haven't seen large scale adoption in generative AI at this point. Now, I'll go out on a limb and I'll say I think that's going to happen before the end of the year. The environment is evolving so quickly, but as of now, it's mainly proofs of concepts and pilots that we're seeing.
Right, thank you, Shirley. I have a question, next one for Navin. How does a unified platform enable the transformation of data into valuable insights and better decision-making?
Thanks, Dave. Really interesting question. And as I was mentioning earlier about when we started the session about the beauty of the unified platform, earlier you had a point solutions, and all the point solution from the technology point of view itself, it was becoming very complex. Some applications are based on Microsoft technology, some on Java, some on Oracle, some on some other languages. But today with the unified platform, you are getting a technology which is seamlessly same because it's single one platform. That is one. Second, your data layer itself, you are not replicating or duplicating and building a redundancy or duplication of a data at every application point, because it's a unified platform. You have same set of a data bases available for performing your transactions, whether it is P2P, O2C, R2R, or FP&A. And third, the most important thing is the information flow from one module to another. And the integration with your ERP or the core financial system brings the sea change in the way you work, the way you approach any transaction, whether it is procurement, whether it is your RFP evaluation, whether it is vendor collaboration, supplier management, or for that matter, accounts payable, and including your contract management itself. As Shirley was talking about generative AI earlier, but if you look at today's contract management in a unified platform, it is very highly driven by artificial intelligence, where your legal and contract management is required for both supplier side and a buyer's, your customer side. So you don't have to really go through line by line to look at the legality and the implications of that contract on the organization. AI does it for you. AI does it in the unified platform. And when you are making a payment, the unified platform is checking from a contract whether there is a valid contract, whether there is a payment due as per the payment terms. So all those unified platform, the information collaboration is happening within the platform itself. You don't really have to contact the other function and the department to check the information out without either you are making a payment or you are supplying to a customer for looking at the credit evaluation, because it's a unified platform. The information is there in a single database.
All right, thank you, Navin. I have a couple more questions. This one here will be for Angelina. What are some key use cases for implementing finance automation? Angelina, are you there?
Yes, sorry, Dave, I'm here. I think some of the key use cases for implementing finance automation is really understanding, the stakeholders of these processes, and then getting them involved within the selection, and what the implications will be, and then also defining roles and responsibilities within this processes, so then everyone is accountable for their part of the process. I think that's what I would say about that.
Okay, thank you. All right, so the last question here I'll have is for Navin. What are the best practices for ensuring successful finance automation journey for long-term value?
Thanks, David. This is the most important question for success of any projects. Most of the project fails only because we don't address this particular question, and which is related to change management. And that is, in fact, one of the questions Marcus has also asked, that what are the best ways to ensure employees comfort with AI in the organization? So you are talking of a transformation, but Marcus has also asked about the artificial intelligence. So change management along with upgrading of the skill. And as Angelina has mentioned about the selection of the tools, technology, and the partner, Shirley has mentioned about the selections of tools and technology based upon. So the mix of all these driven strongly by, and to me, strongly, it is a top-down approach. If there is a message from the what this particular project has to be undertaken, this has to be executed, and the complete bandwidth of the organization or the senior management is toward making it successful by the way of a change management and the adoption. And of course, by taking care the sensitivity in mind that technology is not, as Angelina mentioned, please love technology. Technology is not your enemy. It is not here to take your job, but it is here to facilitate your job, make your job more efficient, more productive, as well as more beneficial for the organization.
Right, thank you for that, Navin. So next, we have a couple of, I think, one or two more poll questions, maybe just one. So if we can get the next poll question up on the screen. Right there it is. All right, so let's see, are you investing in generative AI in finance and accounting? First response, no, not actively looking into it. Second, yes, but initial evaluation phase. And third, yes, setting up pilots. I don't want to go to results and come back to this. I'll go ahead and go to the second question also. How confident are you in your organization's ability to effectively integrate generative AI into existing finance and accounting processes? And this will be on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being low and 5 being high. So let's go ahead and do both of those, I guess. See the results when we have them. Okay, so kind of almost evenly distributed. No, not actively. Yes, but initial evaluation phase, and yes, setting up a pilot. Almost 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 mix on that. How confident are you in organization's ability to effectively integrate generative AI into existing F&A processes? So we're kind of on the kind of in the middle on this one for most folks. So thank you for the response for the poll questions.
So the first question towards Angelina is, did you have to hire new talent for AP analysts? Did the current team transition well? This question is from Amy.
Yes, that's a very good question. So, like I said, when I came over to the to oversee the MCC AP department, there was already some people in place. I just have to work with them, right? Retrain them, and then taking into account what's the previous experience, and then really a lot of conversations at the beginning to say the function is changing, really explaining that yes, everything that you look at today it's a problem, but then that problem, again, it's an exception. This is your job now, right? Instead of being the manual process, now this is the job, right? And like I said, I think the team transitioned well. And then we had additional openings just because we keep adding new locations to this Datamatics platform, right? Like I mentioned, we are different ERP systems, and then again growing through mergers and acquisitions, and then the acquisitions was making again the queues in need of additional people, and that's where my challenge was, finding working with the agencies, to get contractors with the potential to become full-time employees, and I would say I went through six to succeedful, and then finally to get two that were really good and really understanding the new concept of accounts payable. So every time I will go back to the agency to say, I'm looking for someone with an accounts payable background, right? Because you still need those people to, understand procure to pay, three-way match, workflow or approvals. And then when I was looking at resumes, someone that will have, I'm able to do 500 invoices a week or 1,000 invoices a week. It's like, I'm not looking for that type of accounts payable. I'm looking for someone that can troubleshoot. And then, of course, with that comes the pay, right? It's something that we need to talk about, because then I think we sometimes we consider the accounts payable function like the low hanging fruit on the accounting world, where the pay may not be the great. And then now me coming back to my HR group and saying, this is the new expectation. This is the new requirements. And here is what the market is telling us, right? In regards to, yeah, I know you're looking at an accounts payable, but then look, we're more than that now, right? It becomes an analyst job. You need someone that can really troubleshoot. And then for that, there's not much you can train, right? Because it comes with a natural instinct of finding a problem and going back to the troubleshooting phase, right? We can put procedures for simple things, but then when it comes to really understanding why something is not flowing through, right? And then who do I need to contact? And then being in kind of like independent, doing that, right? Not having to check every single time back with supervisor or with me on what to do with this problem. It's like understanding that and really it has to make a difference, that open communication as your role change. No longer my AP clerk. You have the potential, grow and learn, because this is the direction that the accounts payable function is going. And then I think I'm one of the few departments within the organization that have no turnover. Majority of the people I was able to maintain, and we have been able to grow our department based on the additional plans and locations that are being added to the platform. So I hope that answered your question.
Thank you so much for that,
I think
Angela.
that does. So I will take up the other two questions which are related. The first one, although I've addressed, but I will answer with anecdote that which was like, have you seen organization that incorporates? It was asked by Greg, AI with FP&A or accounts payable being able to cut cost. Second, related to that is, what are the best ways to ensure employees with comfort with the AI in the organization, and how can I make him believe on he didn't come? It is not coming to take my place. And this is asked by Marcus. So related to what Angelina mentioned, right? I'll just take one anecdote and real example. We started working with a customer where they had a 120 people team doing the accounts payable or entire P2P process. And for a particular volume, and their volume was close to around, I think, 30K per month, which was a big one. But after 2 years of a transformation and artificial intelligence, the team size for the same, and this is again, I'm using Angelina's term as accounts payable operator, right? It has come down to 21 people, but have we reduced headcount? No. All of them other have graduated to analyst, AP analyst, and they are doing more value-added job. Now they are questioning the process, they are challenging the process, and they are asking how come we are not taking early payment discount? How come we are not really helping organization for managing working capital requirement? So these people are really benefiting organization much more than just playing the role of accounts payable operator, because the jobs have the value has been added to their own profile, their own job. They have graduated to multiple level above just being an operator or just accounts payable. I would say a person, not even I'm calling not even a manager. So if you look at both does that reduce the cost? Yes, absolutely it does. 120 people now. In fact, the 21 people also they are doing 30% more volume. So the work has increased, but rest all other people have graduated to a much more SME role as well as analyst role, and they are also happy because now they are no longer just operator. So I hope Marcus and Greg have answered both the questions with just one anecdote.
Thank you, Naveen. But we have two more questions by the audience. The first one is directed to Shirley. What has your experience been with GenAI adoption by CFOs, and what challenges are they facing? This one's from Sandra.
So, as we all know, the CFO role tends to be more conservative, I would say, for rightful reasons, because the implications of actually getting things wrong can be quite significant to an organization. But that being said, with all of this viral attention on generative AI, it is attracting a different level of executive commitment to invest in investigations, actually, on the potential of generative AI. And in many cases, it's opening up a lot of wallets to accelerate digital transformation. And as I was kind of mentioning before, sometimes generative AI is not the right solution. But when you are investigating, you realize that there's other existing technologies that can solve your issue with a better ROI, right? And because the wallet is cracked open, then it's easier to get that approval to move forward. And so we do see an acceleration of digital transformation across the board, not just in terms of generative AI, but actually in other forms of like RPA, automation, intelligent document processing, more traditional forms of AI, and so forth. So the appetite to explore is certainly there, even at a CFO level. A lot of the use cases is really focused on assisting people to be better, so existing employees to make better decisions, and that is that it kind of goes hand in hand with a little bit of the more risk-averse nature of the finance function. Because as you are kind of looking at some of the headlines that you're seeing out there, when generative AI is being exposed to the marketplace, there's a lot of risk involved, a lot of ways that things can go wrong. And as this finance function, you don't want that. It's very problematic from that standpoint. And so F&A, we do think that the adoption is going to be on the more conservative side, but the appetite is certainly there to explore.
That was great to hear from you, Shirley. Thank you. The next question and the last question for today before we conclude is for Navin. What are the top use cases for Gen AI in F&A processes? This is from Peter.
So thanks, Peter, for asking the question. And this is as Shirley mentioned at many point of a time. So for example, what is digital transformation was automating the entire process, right? It was not taking decisions. Anywhere where there is a decision making involved, where you want to take a decision with the help of generative artificial intelligence with the available set of data is the right use case. And just to take an example, vendor evaluation, RFP evaluation, your commodity price prediction. So they are just a few. But if you look at any sub process where you have to take a decision, which is an expensive decision, would be the right fit and the candidate for generative AI.
Great. Thank you so much, Naveen. David, over to you for the final conclusion, please. Thank
Oh,
you.
sure. Thanks. Again, thank you everybody for attending. Appreciate you being here. If you seek any further information, please don't hesitate to reach out via email on events@datamatics.com. Keep an eye out for the session recording and presentation deck, which will be sent to you within the next day. We eagerly await your feedback in a survey form that will appear shortly. Until our next session, take care. See you soon. Goodbye.